What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Stats and Facts, where we have all the stats.
And we have all the facts.
I go by DJ G94.
And I go by One. And y'all already know how we do it.
So let's get into it. This guy right here, y'all, don't need he responsible for a lot of people's careers like Ludacris, 2 Chainz, Jagged Edge, Bobby Valentino, YG, Exhibit, Nicki Minaj, Gucci Man. And he's straight out of Los Angeles. The big Poon daddy. What's up, dog?
What's up? What's happening?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, fellas? Stats and facts.
Yes, sir.
You know what it is. Appreciate you being on the show, boss.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me, man. You guys are doing your things in a serious way. And I had to tap in when the opportunity came to just, tap in with you guys because you guys have been doing some things and getting respected, especially in this whole, new era of podcasting.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, fam.
Appreciate you.
All right. I'm going to start out with the first question, bro. What was it like growing up in Los Angeles, man?
I mean, like anything, I'm a 74 baby. I actually wasn't born in LA. I was born in New Haven, Connecticut. And then my grandmama got a job at the VA hospital in Santa Monica. I think like 77, 76, something like that. So my mama was, she was singing and doing different plays and was, always in the entertainment field. My father was a singer-songwriter. He had like publishing deals, Solar, and wrote records with people like Karen White, Whispers, a bunch of different people in the 80s and late 70s. So music has kind of always been in my blood, and that kind of culture has been in my blood. So I always gravitated to it in LA. But the funny thing about me, my grandmama moved into Slauson and Crenshaw, like one of the first places she moved to, Dorset Village. It just kind of tapped me into a different type of people. You know what I'm saying? So by me, as being like a 2-3-year-old, I don't really know too much, but I learned fast. So when I got there, I was able to understand what the streets of LA is like, gang culture is like, you know what I'm saying? Because I came up in that era of, real gang banging. So where I'm at in the section I'm at is, Slauson and Crenshaw, 8th Avenue to be exact, so, that's where I became me,
So I wanted to ask you, what was it like? Like, was it a culture shock with you going from Cali to Atlanta?
It was a culture shock, but a good culture shock, because here in LA, it's an aggressive state. You feel what I'm saying? And of course, down south, there's a lot of Southern hospitality. So it took me a minute to really understand what that really was. We've heard about it in school. People saying they cool down there in the South, but here, if you cool, you're a sucker. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no really reason to be cool because everybody here is out to get you, whether it's girl, guy, whatever. That's just the whole mindset of California. And I mean, this is growing up from like preschool. I kid with my friend because, he was talking about like what he was aspiring to do in elementary school. Well, anybody that came from my era that grew up and went to LA Unified School District, and you was a male, if you was a real alpha male like myself, you had one desire, and that was to be the king of the school. So that was literally a mindset to go try to beat up everybody else in the school who thought they was tough. I don't really know in too many places in elementary school, the 3rd or 4th grade, your whole desire is to beat somebody ass. So again, just that whole mindset was different. And by the time I got in high school, I really knew how to interact with different people from different sides because I was, we call ourselves the politic era, which is the reason why the peace treaty happened after the riots, because so many of us had friends and real close friends that were from other sides. Like one of my best friends in the world, like my closest friend, he's from Fruitown Brim. He's a blood. But, you know what I'm saying? I love him more than I probably love a lot of these niggas that claim sick. You know what I'm saying? Just because who he is and who he's been in my life. You know what I'm saying? So depending on what that person is and who that person is, it might be a special bond. So over the years, you might give him a pass. You might tell your homies to stop. He might do the same thing. In these certain relationships outside of myself, anybody that kind of came up in my era had these same type of relationships. This is the reason why they were able to go around in the city, do different things, be on different sides. So that right there was different landscape. Because when I got to Atlanta, I could do whatever the fuck I want. I could go wherever I wanted. But I was I was hidden in Atlanta because I was in college, and then my musical, stuff came from being with Left Eye. So I was an intern for Left Eye. I went on the road with them. I met her in my 12th grade year at Magic Mountain, and a whole big riot happened. I ended up meeting her, and yeah, man, that was kind of more or less the stake of me, learning my wits and my ways of Atlanta coming from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So tell me, man, growing up, like, in every community for us black males, it's either the streets, sports, or music. And I remember in one interview you said you grew up playing the game of football. So tell me how football changed your life.
Well, football changed my life in LA again because it deemed me to have to deal with other people from different sides of the city. But the cold thing about it is that if we was among each other just because of my passion and anything I do, I was elite. So you was elite. I wasn't like hanging around, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I could say in my 12th grade, high school, and even take it back to my Pop Warner days. In my last year of Pop Warner, if I could say that class that graduated with me, that came out of that class the last year, I think that was like, they called Junior Bantam or something like that thing. 14 of those guys went to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. 7 of them went to Dorsey, which is my high school, but 14 in all that played Pop Warner football with me was that good. They went to the professional level. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that means that if I was playing with them and able to start and compete, then I was on an elite level. So in dealing with them and the passion for football really brought us together. Dorsey was known for having pride. If you know anything about it or you heard anything about it, got a lot of really good athletes, really a lot of good people that came from different hoods, different sections that really excelled. And Dorsey really made you kind of see yourself outside of your neighborhood and seeing you as a real athlete among real true athletes. So it began a pride. So people talk about DDP, which is Dorsey Down Pride, Dorsey Down Posse, and it's like almost I would say like a fraternity of a sort, because we even now we talk on the phone, we get together, and I'm talking about these are guys that's right now you would know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from Miami Dolphins, UCLA standout, Lamont Warren, Keyshawn Johnson. You know what I'm saying? He's on ESPN every day. These are my friends, like people that we grew up together, joking, kidding, you know what I'm saying? Eating each other's food. Like we were friends together. We were all from different sections, but that bond of football really brought us together, and it really kept us together. You know what I'm saying? And it even did that for my other boy I was telling you about earlier, my boy Rayburn. Like me and his bond came together because of football. Like if you came up in that era, it was like, this was kind of before everybody was really rapping. You know what I'm saying? Rapping was like, you had to really be good to rap. So I love music, but I could never see myself as a rapper.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So it's just like, to me, I felt like athletics was my thing. So that's kind of what I did. And I was blessed enough to go to the, the Black College tour that they used to do. Yeah. And I'm a devout AME. My mama's AME church. So our church actually took us to all the HBCUs when I was in the 12th grade. So when I got to Atlanta, it literally was the same weekend of the first Freaknik. So shall I say more? Anything else that was deemed to possibly be my future went the fuck away, because I seen shit I never seen before on the tour.
Yeah.
We wasn't even in Freaknik, and I seen pussy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So imagine that. I'm like, oh, this where I'm at. I'm going. I'm there. And I remember talking to one of the college football coaches over there when I was there, and I was like, man, I'm gonna send you my tape. man, as soon as I sent him my tape, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna give you a scholarship, easy. Don't even worry about it." So I ended up going to Clark, and man, I got some friends in from '93 that class to like '97, '98. Those 7, 8 years, these might be some of the most powerful people in the music business and the entertainment right now.
Sheesh.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to ask you, I've never been to college. DJ, he been to college, so he tell me about like the experience a lot of times. But I wanted to ask you, what was your college experience like?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. My college experience was all over the place because I was trying to figure out what mattered the most.
Yeah.
Was it college or was it a future? Now, picture this. Going to class every day as much as I can, but as soon as I leave class, I can walk into Dallas Austin Studio. I can walk into LaFace. I can do anything that I can want to do on the music scene easily, just because I was with Lisa. You know what I'm saying? So Atlanta's a real cliquish type of place. So when you are amongst the real clique, man, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do because you're accepted. So these were kind of like my, I can say my mentors or whatever, but these are the people I'm bouncing shit off of. Like some of the biggest producers, writers, and whatever of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell people this story all the time. I remember the first time I went to Dallas Austin Studio, he had like a back room and it had like beds. Like it was like a dormant, no, like a boot camp. So it had like a bed and a bunk and a trunk. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But he had like a system where he kind of like took from Barry Gordy, where he was like, it's probably better for the producers to be able to have a place to stay here just in case they want to get up and work, because he had a real factory of producers. He had some of the dopest producers that pretty much is, in R&B and pop music that's probably in the last 25 years. So he really set up something that was different. So it kind of, I'm going from that to, you know what I'm saying? I guess I could say like studio session 104. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck about that. This was in the studio with most fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I remember one day I walked in there and Natalie Cole was in that bitch. I'm like, Natalie Cole? Like, what the fuck? I'm about to call my mama. You know what I'm saying? So I got to go to class at 8 o'clock and be sitting here with Natalie Cole smoking a joint. Go to class. But my mother was just really keen on me getting my education. She was like, I can't pay for it and I can't make you stay. So whatever you can do. So they got to my junior year, I got hurt and I didn't really have enough money to pay for school. So I think at that time, I want to say TLC second album maybe came out and I took a little break and I went on tour with them. But when I came back off a tour, Lisa gave me the money to go back to school. Like literally paid for the whole year, gave me the cash. I was so just in awe. So I went back to school, did as good as I can. I was staying with her. I was doing whatever I could do, learning in the music business, and kind of like, this was like post-fire. But the whole thing about it that, once the fire happened, she got on probation, I was like one of the only people that was around her all day. I was like her assistant as she was working at LaFace. So I got a chance to meet and talk to all these different individuals, all walks of life, from all different backgrounds that I don't know nothing about. But so this is like a life lesson and a school lesson all happening at the same time. So it got a chance for me to really train my brain to understand, whoa, this is going down. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of tapped into a mode where I was like, okay, I'm just about to fuel as much as I can. And that was just me for a long time until like 95, 96, the radio shit happened. And everything really changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dope.
Speaking of the radio, tell me about that and how did you meet Ludacris? Chris Lover, that is.
Well, I started at the radio station because of my roommate, this dude named Blackie. His name was Anthony Jackson. He's from Watts. He was at a bar or a club and he met this guy named Jason Staten. At this time, Hot 97.5 didn't even have any jocks, or if they had jocks, they might have talked for an hour. You know what I'm saying? There might only been 2 or 3 of them. They played the same loop of songs, hip hop songs, over and over all day long. But the crazy thing about it is that they got so many listeners because Atlanta was a against rap city. They was like, didn't want rap to break. So literally they would have drops on V103, which is, you know, one of the biggest stations there now. They say, no rap. You won't hear rap on this station. Like literally, like fuck rap. So anybody that came from the rap culture or liked rap and heard this new station, tapped in. I don't give a fuck if it was the same 20 songs or not. I'm listening to this instead of that. So immediately it was the new thing. I heard about it. I don't even think I had heard it. I meet this dude in my room like 2 in the morning. My roommate wakes me up. He's like, yo, this is Jason Staten. He's a music director of this new radio station. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm sleep, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that mode. So my nigga Ant like threw some water in my face and shook me and like woke me up. Was like, nigga, did you just hear what I just said? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of tapped in a little bit and, you know, I befriended him or whatever in that little bit of time. And the next day, I think I might have forgot the next day. So he called the room and was like, yo, I thought you was coming to the station. I need you to help me with some records. So I'm thinking he want me to help him listen to some music. Man, this nigga want me to help him file 2,000 records. Like put them in order in alphabetical order. This is some old, you know, intern learning, you know, rope shit. I'm a crip. I don't know nothing about what this man is talking about. I'm not about to file no records, nigga. I'm out of here. So I left his house and he came to my dorm room. He like met me back in my room. I think I caught the MARTA, went home. And then he was like, listen, man, let me talk to you. And he kind of just gave me some real game. Just like, you're gonna always be somebody that's somebody just like over there until you like do something and show somebody that you really are worthy. You know what I'm saying? That's how the music business works. I was like, what? But at the same time, I'm replaying in my mind where I'm seeing other people get in position because they was just pouring somebody some milk or doing something else. Now they on a song. I just seen this at the studio. I don't know what they're doing, but I kind of just seen people process it. You feel me? So he made it come to light to me just that time, real fast. You know what I'm saying? So I took the information. I said, cool. I went right back with him and helped him file the record. No problem. We smoked, drank, kicked it. He was a little weird, but he was cool. You know what I'm saying? He was from Michigan. The next day I went to the station when I got out of class. I met everybody at the station. Just so happened Shaka Zulu, who literally was a student at Clark, he had a night gig there because he had already did college radio at Clark radio station. So he was already in the mix. When he seen me in there, it's like, oh shit, what's up, my nigga? You know what I'm saying? So he from New York, New Orleans. We sit it up, talk about school girls. And man, I can't really even say, but it just, everything happened so fast. It was like my first day to nobody even fucking with me till I'm like, they asked me to bring some people up there. I bring some people up there. While that's happening, the nigga who brought me up there gets fired. I don't, you know what I'm saying? At that, I'm lost. Then I'm like, oh shit, this nigga fired. So the day he got fired, the following day, I don't come up there. The general manager, her name is Mary Catherine Sneed. She called me and she was like, why are you not here? And I was like, they said Jason got fired. She said, Jason got fired. That's not you. You work here and you're an intern here. You're one of our only interns. I need you. So I came back literally maybe like a week. In that time, I can remember it specifically. Somebody was banging at the motherfucking door after hours. You know, radio station is only up until 5:30. It's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Somebody is banging for like 3 songs. You know what I'm saying? That's how we count. You know what I mean? This nigga been banging for 3 whole songs. Who the fuck is down there? I go down there, nigga with a little motherfucking flat top, talking about, hey man, my name is Chris, I rap. You know what I'm saying? Some shit. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck? I don't, you know what I'm saying? I just work here, my nigga. I don't, you know what I'm saying? We chop it up like maybe for a couple minutes. He's like, look, man, I want to do what I got to do to get my, you know, music on the radio. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. So then I remembered something that I heard at the station earlier that day. The station started getting different DJs. So the DJs that had shows on, they needed some type of identification for their actual show. So if you ever remember kind of back in the day, and even now, people have intros to their show. So it'd be like a minute. You might say, talk about the station, talk about the job, talk about what he's playing, shit like that. So I told Chris, I said, look, none of the DJs have intro. Maybe if you go listen to the station, listen to niggas, see what they talking about, and come back and do an intro for them, you know, maybe they'll play it. That could kind of maybe get people familiar with your voice. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, good idea. He went and did it, came back the next day. I told him to come back. He was there next day. He had 5 drops, a minute long, over all dope-ass hot beats, rap beats that was out. I gave it to the DJ. I gave it to the production guy. He was like, who did this? I was like, I don't know, some nigga named Chris. So he gave me his number. I called him. I'm like, look, my nigga, they fuck with you, bro. You need to come up here. So he came up there one day. When he came up there, I introduced him to everybody. He didn't even really know what to do. I just told him, keep coming back. He came up there maybe like 2-3 more days. One of the other people that was at the station that was kind of seniority was like, man, you guys look good together. Y'all vibe good together. Maybe y'all should try to do something together. And we was like, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But our actual boss, his name was Steve Hegwood, he was already ahead of the game. He was like, look, you know everybody. He's talking about me. Because at that time, literally, maybe I left this part out, but when I first got to the station, within the first 7 days, I brought actually to the station physically Too Short, Eric Sermon, Tribe Called Quest, Andre Rogers, Left Eye, Dominique Wilkins, Dallas Austin, Jermaine Dupri. L.A. Reid was on, he did a phone call. Somebody else too, it was all big people. The station had knew nobody.
Uh-huh.
I pretty much brought, you know what I'm saying, all type of real true pioneers of Atlanta and real true stars of Atlanta to the station. They valued that. I really didn't know. I just kind of just see myself kind of just trying to help out, make myself valid. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I did. So they're already ahead of the game. They're like, this nigga know everybody. We're going to get him on the air. So it was these 2 guys that did the night show. They did radio in other places. That was called KK and Bootleg. They told me to get on KK and Bootleg show. And they told Chris, it was like, could you get on the morning show with the morning show crews, Art Terrell and Felicia Love? And this is where Chris Lover Lover came from, because Felicia Love called him Chris Lover Lover. So that pretty much kind of cemented us actually on air at the station. While we was there, they brought up us doing a show again, maybe like about 4 or 5 months into it. They said, we'll give y'all a show on Sunday nights. We'll call it Future Flavors. It was taken from a show that Marley Ball and what's my man name? DJ Touch, Tony Touch in New York. They had a show called Future Flavors where they played new music. So we did a show called Future Flavors and we played new music. It was Sunday nights. It was all the new shit, the ghetto shit in Atlanta, from the booty shake shit to the real hardcore Atlanta shit. We played it all. But it really kind of set a precedent for us because we were the youngest people on the air. So we was tapped in. Chris had just graduated high school. I just was in AU. AU was the most popular shit. You know what I'm saying? So we were really popular within the station. So that kind of cemented us there. The popularity of the show went from like where they said people was like writing in letters and shit. I don't remember, but they used to give us shit. I never really read it. But they were just telling us, you know, our viewers, basically our whole, listenership was like the biggest they ever had, like on a weekend slot. So I guess it was like this thing called Arbitron. It kind of rates you on how big it was. It was like the station was literally hard to listen to. They say people would be pulled over on the side of the road just to kind of not get fucked up in the signal to listen to the show. This is how good it was. And we didn't know what the fuck we was doing. So it was very, you know, raw, uncut, and we were honest. And people liked it. You know what I'm saying? So that really kind of got us there. And from there, everything else came. And Lala came maybe like a year and a half into it. Lala came. She was like, she lied to everybody and said she was out of high school. She was only like in the 11th grade or something, or just going to the 12th grade. She came and interned on our show. I gave her hell because she was like a girl trying to be with 2 dudes, you know what I'm saying? So, but she was the shit. She was relentless. She was quick. She was smart. She was witty. You know what I'm saying? She was what she is now. You know what I'm saying? But she was just a growth. So with us, she was able to build and really kind of stand her ground and become, you know, really dope. So she did that, and like maybe after 2 years of her being on the air, she moved to DC because they knew she was really good by herself. She moved to DC, went to Howard, and she had a show there. And then she came back to us maybe for like a year, and we helped her get a job at the Beat in New York. I mean, in LA, here in LA. And from there, it was TRL, everything else. You know what I'm saying? So,
All right.
So I wanted to ask you, was using radio to break into the music business like always the plan, or did that come about, you know, when you met Luda or met other people?
I had no intentions to break into the music business.
Mm.
My whole reason of going to college was to kind of maybe do some film and television shit, because I always felt like I was kind of silly, funny, but I always felt like I had like writer's wit. You know what I'm saying? Just from like watching TV. Like I used to watch TV shows that nobody else watched, but I used to laugh. It was, you know, it'd be funny as fuck to me. And, you know, after talking to a few different people, I was like, damn, I might have some skills. So for me, it was about like getting out of school and, you know, trying to tap into maybe, you know, writing a play or you know, writing a film or something like that. So that was like me and Chris's thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, if you get into the music business, then we'll do that, and then we'll do the film shit too. So this was kind of like our whole thing, and this stayed our plan, because that's how I actually got back to LA. Because once he wins platinum, I was like, okay, nigga, let's go. So we wrote something called Skip Day while we were on the radio. It was an actual movie about the ultimate skip party, like for high schoolers, like where like it's kind of like Ferris debut, but a black version. And it was just like everything happened. It's like the best shit ever. It like rained gold, you know what I'm saying? And you got high and got some pussy. Like it just, you know what I mean? Like it was at 17. So it was just really dope. Fox liked it. They gave us money. They gave us like 200 grand. They got us a condo in Century City. So at this time, I'm like, oh shit, I'm going back home. So I done went back home. At the same time, I'm like, we're like, you know, Chris is a superstar. So I'm developing artists at the same time too. 20, Shauna, 2 Chainz, you know what I'm saying? Like Titty Boy was like my special project. You know what I'm saying? Because he literally was my weed man at the radio station. Like this is how we met. He bought me to go sell me some weed. So he was just a charismatic dude, cool, real person, genuine. Kind of reminded me a lot of my homies in the neighborhood, just a Southern version. And we just really bonded. And he was already friends with Lil Fake, and he knew Chris because he was from the South Side, but I kind of like made him kick it. You know how like you might know a nigga that everybody know, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, them nigga kind of lame, but I fuck with you, Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, they ain't that lame, come fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? And then it ended up, you know, creating the kindership for us all and him as well. So it just builded that bond. And a lot of times people like to talk about like the music business and really trying to understand the cliques and crews, but when you got really true friends, I mean, it's like, it's very sensitive to navigate in the emotions of friends, because it's not like you just calling a nigga to come rap or come do something. Like, this is your nigga. You gonna go fuck with some bitches, y'all gonna go have some drinks. So when you're doing that, it takes a, you know, a certain type of vibe. So we had to learn that. DTP, we had to learn it. With all the acts, we had to learn it. And, you know, everybody kind of got a chance to show their art, you know what I mean? And the people who blew up big, you know, that I always said that's what they were supposed to do. I always felt like 2 Chainz was a star from the first day I met him. You know what I'm saying? Just like I felt like Luda was a star. And the crazy thing about it, I'm talking about 2 people, but these 2 motherfuckers are born on a day apart, the same year. I think his mom, 2 Chainz' mama said she was like, had him at like 6 in the morning one day, and then Luda's mama had him the day before, 2 hours prior. So these niggas are pretty much the same people, just different backgrounds. Both only children. So it was just like, I never knew this in meeting them. This was just like shit you find out over time. But if you think Chris can be a star, if you don't think he can be a star, and it's like, I mean, at some point, as they say, the stars are gonna align because it's all right there. You feel me? So I knew it without knowing, and then found out, and it kind of all played its portion to helping them. And they're my niggas to this day. I love them. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't really kick it always like they do, especially when they get older. But you know, people know me, man. I'm just one of those type of people that like I call you and fuck with you when I'm ready to fuck with you. I don't really, you know, I don't really do too much outside of that.
All right, Poon, take me back to that 98 to 2000 year. Y'all did an independent album, Incognito, and coming up with the Stereo the Piece with Ludacris. So tell me about that.
Okay, well, Chris was kind of like already ready set, man. Disturbing the Peace was originally the name of his group. It wasn't the name of his label. It was him and his homie at Banneker High School, and they kind of evolved into the name of the label. So he kind of already knew what he wanted to do. And it was just kind of like a fortune of us meeting people, learning people, figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of different things that we had trying to figure out what to do. Originally, we were just trying to do anything we can to get a record deal with somebody or get somebody to endorse them, whether it was Jermaine, whether it was Dungeon Family, whether it was Tony Mercedes, whether it was Dallas Austin, whether it was whoever. It didn't matter. You know, we were just looking for an opportunity. So we were really close, and you know, we really had cool ties with Baby and Slim. And Slim in particular was like, what y'all doing? Why y'all don't put this shit out? And we was like, well, we trying to get a deal. He was like, a deal? You are the deal. Y'all on the radio. Put the shit out and sell it. You don't need nobody else. Y'all already got fans. You know what I'm saying? So he taught us about independent. And what's the guy name? I think his name is like Michael Walker. Somebody, I think his name is Southern Music in Atlanta. Me and Chris met him through a lawyer. We went and met with him, and he kind of worked us a little bit, but you know, he ended up paying what he needed to. But he was like, I'll give you guys $4, you know, and if you sell 20,000 records, you know, I'll give you $5, you know, some shit like that or whatever. So yeah, we ended up selling like 40,000 records, like 30 days, 25 days, some shit like that. Because with the radio station being supportive as they were, they literally just ran promos every 30 seconds in the commercial set saying, go get bloopers out. Mm-hmm. So we had like maybe a $250,000, $500,000 promo running while we were on the air. And then we were acting as if Ludacris was, you know, a whole nother person, like he wasn't Chris Lover. So a lot of times people didn't even really know. I was just talking to my boy Skane today, who used to work at Def Jam with me. He was just like, man, you know, in the beginning, I didn't know Ludacris was Chris Lover. You know what I'm saying? So it was funny that people really didn't get it, even though you hear his fucking voice every day. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, so that time really kind of set us. So once we sold the records, like in anything, it became a frenzy. Went to New York, met with a lot of people. I actually stayed back because I had to stay on air since Chris was gone. So Shaka and Chris went to New York, took a couple meetings, and it looked like we was going to sign with Sylvia Rome. And in the 9th hour, I got a call from Leor Cohen and Kevin Scarface, who was at that time starting Def Jam South. And they wanted Chris to be the new person, and yeah. So I had to somehow get in touch with Chaka, who was at a lecture in Sylvia Rome's office, who had already basically got a verbal. The lawyer was there. So I somehow got him on the phone, told him to leave. Don't sign shit, leave. Get the fuck out of there. And they left. They came back on the plane. And I want to say by the time that they got back, I was just instructed to tell them just to stay at the airport. But we didn't stay at the airport. We ended up leaving and then going back to the airport to meet Leor, Scarface, and Def Jam attorneys to sign the deal. Mm. And I guess it had to go like that because by law, by Electra offering them a deal in the state of New York, when they was there, It was like against the rules for them to come, or against the law for them to be able to like come out. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere else. Almost like some compete clause, insider trading type of lawyer shit or whatever. So that pretty much cemented the deal, and then from there it was it was history. What's Fancy went #1. Southern Hospitality, throw them balls. It was just a ride, man. It was a ride. Good ride.
So now I wanted to ask you, like, with your history in music theory and just having a good ear for good music, like, is it a particular song you heard that you didn't particularly like, but it ended up being a hit?
Let me tell you something that's crazy. It's a lot of hit records that I don't like because there's formulas. My personal intake might be what I initially like, but I can hear a record and say that's a fucking hit because of the formula and how it's set. It might be a hit record to a different audience. It might be a hit record in a certain range, but if it's heard enough and played enough, bona fide, it's a hit record. I never forget this. It was a song that we used to play on the radio, and I bet my boss $100 that the record would go top 5. He said that it wouldn't go past maybe top 20, maybe if that. It was Nonchalant, 9 o'clock in the morning. It was like a DC record. She was a rapper from DC. She had like a go-go swag feel. And it was just 9 o'clock in the morning, where you gonna be? But it was just the vibe of the song. Outside on the corner. Yeah, so the vibe of the record was just so chanty, iffy, and it was just so melodic. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew, oh, the niggas on the block here, this is over. I don't give a fuck where they're at. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew it was a hit record. I don't want to hear it yourself. But you know what I'm saying? It was a hit record. And a lot of records are like that. So it's never necessarily like me personally. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing people have to really understand when they understand the art of just music. It's not a personal thing. That song has its own energy. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker gonna do what it's gonna do, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm. That's facts.
That's what's up. All right. I got another question about Disturbing the Peace. Ludacris takes off. He got 2 platinum albums. The next thing you know, y'all got basically Atlanta artists until 2003. Y'all signed St. Louis rapper Chingy. Tell me what that experience was like.
Okay, so look, let me tell you about that shit. So check this out. Chingy probably, I don't want to try to say I take credit for everything, but I definitely drew the attention.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you how crazy shit is. Okay? Shaka Zulu managed the producers. But at this time, Shaka, by him managing Chris, he is so fucking hot. Shaka got still to this day, he got 80 jobs. So at the end of the day, I think, and he still says to this day he didn't, but I think he forgot about them. Like, he forgot he even did a deal with him. It was managing them. Because they were sending CDs into the Def Jam South every week. It was like 10 of them. So I remember India, who was she was like an A&R as well as like a GM at Def Jam South. She was like, who is Zoe and Sham? And I was like, I don't know, but they keep sending these track stars. They keep sending in this shit. And I don't know, but I'm going to listen to it. So I remember I listened to a couple of the beats and shit, and the beats was dope. So I remember I asked Shaka about it, what's up with the track stars? He was like, what's up with them? Where they at? I'm like, I was like, man, they keep sending in CDs. They got a bunch of shit. I was like, he's like, you heard the CDs? I was like, yeah. Like the dope beats? I was like, yeah. So he actually took some of the beats, and I want to say somebody got a place, maybe G Wallace, Shock, I don't know, but some of the songs I actually got placed. But in one of the CDs that I didn't even get to yet, it said, this is our artist, Jackpot. Mm-hmm. The first record I heard was right there. If you first hear that motherfucker right there, at this time of when Luda's out, Nelly's out, it's real different parts of the country that started to evolve in hip hop and doing different shit. It's like, man, what's this? And I was like, oh, what the fuck is this?
And
so I remember I played it for like 2 or 3 days. Shaka, I think, was out of town with Chris, maybe on tour. When he came back, I just kept playing it, and he just was looking at it. He was like, this is them. The next day, he flew to St. Louis. He was out. Was gone. He flew to St. Louis. He called me. He was like, I signed it. I just signed it. I was like, what? So he signed him to DTP. We had a meeting maybe the following week in New York for Def Jam so they can hear it. As soon as we got to Def Jam, the first thing, before we even went to the meeting, they was like, he looks like, what the fuck is wrong? His T-shirt is dragging to the floor. Like, he looks crazy. Like, what is wrong with this dude? So they wasn't feeling his vibe from the jump. They didn't like the music. They knew about the Nelly shit, but I guess Def Jam really wasn't, you know what I'm saying? They was open to it, and I think they might have did it, but I remember I told Chuck, I said, look, man, we got options now. We don't got no exclusive shit going on. We got to, stretch our options. So we took some other meetings, and we had already kind of met with Julie, what's her name, Goldstein, and Steve Prudhomme, and Capitol on some other stuff. And we was like, we're going to play you this new thing we just got. And I remember the initial meeting was for I-20. I think sometime. The initial meeting was for I-20. And then after we played I-20, we played Chinky. And, they kind of like, okay, yeah, we'll do that, whatever. But we want this too. You know what I'm saying? And shit, the rest was history. And literally, it was nothing that had to be done, but like literally features, because Track Stars had pretty much produced the first 5 or 6 songs on the album, including Holiday Inn, what's the My Baby, the shit with Jason
One
Weaver.
Call Away. Yeah, One Call Away.
Yeah, One Call Away. I put Jason Weaver on the record. That was my little homeboy. He used to go hang out with me at the after hours. I was like, man, get on this song, man. And he got on that motherfucker, and the shit went like top 5 R&B. And then I called Dog one day, like, hey, man, this nigga, he reminded me of DJ Quick a lot. I fuck with him from St. Louis. I'm like, what? So I went to the studio, played the shit for Dog. Dog was like, let's go. He jumped on that motherfucker, did Holiday Inn, and that was the album right there. Shit sold like 3 million records. But like I said, it was something that kind of was already going. It's a little, it's always weird when somebody that you don't know comes into your fold, you know what I'm saying, for Chris. But, I think he kind of handled it to the best of his degree. You know what I'm saying? He had a bunch of other friends and cohorts that was like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? This dude getting all the attention. But it's like, man, it's like a bad bitch, man. It's like, you going to be mad that the bitch is bad? Nigga, hell no. The bitch is bad. Shit, you can't be mad at that, So, I mean, like, again, it was different things. It was all learning on the job. You know what I'm saying? So, it wasn't like, we had a course in knowing how to run a record label. We was doing it to the best degree. From Shaka's standpoint, mine, Chris, Jeff, everybody that was majorly involved. We just trying to put the best foot forward to kind of make our shit known. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody had really knew what DTP could possibly do. You know what I'm saying? So we got a good opportunity in doing the Fast and Furious 2 soundtrack. I A&R that, co-produced it, and along my boy Paul Stewart. He was actually the director on it, the music director. And yeah, man, we did some shit for the Wash. We got a chance to do a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? And it all worked in good favor, and it always be learning. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I guess at this point I felt like, okay, well, maybe I better really start taking the music shit serious, because I know music because of my ear again. So it wasn't something I felt like I had to do, but it was something that was like a calling of the sort. Because I'm like, man, if I let a lot of people come around me and half-ass, then everybody's gonna half-ass. And I don't really believe in half-assing if it's a passion. And us as Black people would like to kind of take mediocrity and be like, okay, cool, I got my song just on the radio. Man, fuck that. Get your song on the radio. It's your album out, nigga. It's your album to be the biggest song. It's the most played. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you shooting for just small? Why are you not shooting for the big? And it's like, a lot of times, coming from poverty, people be scared to do that. But if people really do, just review people in time, man, they're going to see the underdogs really win big. You just got to really work on it,
Facts. So I wanted to ask you, with like all of the success starting to happen, and all of just the good things starting to happen around you, what was it like going on tour for the first time?
Going on tour for the first time?
Yeah.
You talking about with who? With DTP or with who?
Like your first initial tour. Was that the first initial one?
My first initial tour was Outkast.
Okay. Yeah, what was that like?
I went like on like 6 dates with KP and Shanti sent me out to help, you know what I'm saying, do some shit. And I was just always in the mix because, you know, a lot of people don't know, but Left Eye used to have had a couple of acts that were signed to Savvy Records, which is Pebbles' label. And she had a rap group called Genesee Quad, Drip Drop. And these guys would actually had deals with budgets. So before Outkast got signed, this was some of the initial money that Organized Noise got paid for music. You know what I'm saying? So acts really never came out or really did anything. But if you know anything about music, as long as they're a budget, we own. You know what I'm saying? So you can be able to work. So I was at the Dungeon watching the development of Outkast, Goody Mob, East Point Chain Gang, and Lumberjacks. And I'm seeing this. You know what I mean? So I'm going from hanging with Lisa, with Genesee Quan, Drip Drop, and Left and TLC to going right to the Dungeon, hanging with the realest of the real in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So all this kind of like helped fuel me. So this is why I was able to be so successful in radio, because like I'm literally just calling my own. You know what I'm saying? So it just kind of, you know, everything just kind of evolved from there and kind of really helped, you know, build. But the tour shit was cool because I just kind of felt like I was just like, you know, just doing the whole college shit again, but just every night. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get accustomed to it. But man, I done been on tour so much, man. I know I have to go on tour again because I got to act. It's probably going to be one of the biggest in the world. So I know I'm going to have to go on tour at least a couple of times early. But, you know, it's work, you know, and you gotta understand what it is to go on tour and then go on tour to work. If you go on tour and you don't understand that it's work, you won't go on tour no more because you're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get caught up.
Okay. So tell me about you know, the gap year is a long year, like 2006, 2011. One of my favorite rappers of all time, Lil Wayne. He jumps on Play a Circle song, Duffel Bad Boy. Tell me what was it like that year, the 2007 year? That shit was awesome.
Well, I mean, I think I heard that record like the day after it was done. Titty Boy played it for me. He was so excited. The song had been done, but like that song was done for maybe like 3 or 4 years before it actually came. Yeah, it was done for a long time. It took a minute for it to come out. It was just a lot of bullshit. Well, the reason why it was a lot of bullshit is because Baby is Baby, okay? So me and Baby is cool. It's my nigga. So I'm the type of person, I'm not really a waiter or an asker or do something. So when I initially wanted Tit to get a deal, Chris wasn't giving me the energy that I want. So I called 2 Chainz. I called Baby. And I said, I need Tit to get a deal. And he said, have that nigga come down here. Me and Tit came, went to New Orleans, sat with them, talked to them, did some songs. Mac 10 was there. It was the whole, we stayed there maybe like 2-3 nights. And this what kind of started 2 Chainz and Wayne's bond. You know what I'm saying? Because Wayne was young. The Hot Boys are still around now. You know what I'm saying? This was that era. So it was kind of starting to, you know, dissipate a little bit, but it was still held together when we was kicking. And even to put some icing on the cake, I took him to meet Diddy, 2 Chainz. And Diddy was interested. And the crazy thing about it is that whole situation was probably one of the illest because 2 Chainz went to go meet Puff Daddy after 4 hours of just getting shot in the foot. We was in the car together going to get some weed from the projects, and he got shot in the foot. And we had a flight 2 hours after that. Man, this man popped about 6 pills, wrapped his foot up, and we took that meat. I mean, literally, we're talking to Puff, and 2 Chainz' foot is going white to red instantly, like it's still bleeding. Because we done flew there, you know, the air, everything, you know what I mean? His foot is fucked up. So, but this is how dedicated he was, and this is how, you know, I mean, I kept it real with him, like, bro, you fuck up opportunity like this on some bullshit, then that's on you, my nigga. I just kept it real, And he took it to heart and sucked it up. We did that shit, and we went there. And I think by the time we maybe got back, that nigga Christian was like, man, I'm not about to fuck this off. And gave it to the deal. And I was like, nah, we're gonna do it. And once he gave him a deal, we had to go through a whole process because Def Jam really wasn't on board with Titty Boy. Mm-hmm. So that was her whole thing. That really held him up for a long time. And then I think me and Jeff, which is Shaka's brother, was like, man, let's bring Player Circle back, which was already something that he was already a part of. It was already going. You know what I'm saying? We just brought him a dollar and had his boy Chip do the beats, and yeah, it was their whole team. Shy, you know what I mean? Gump, everybody, go. So that was the situation that unfolded for them. The messed up thing about it is that like the attention that Def Jam was giving Luda at the time when Player Circle was starting to fold was like very minimal because they had so many emerging other stuff that was going on that was bigger. And they wanted a Chris out. And Chris probably, wasn't really prepared to do anything that they really wanted. And he was focused on trying to get all these acts out. So it was a difficult period, but relentless, that's why 2 Chainz is who he is right now, because he's relentless. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He played it correctly.
So,
oh man, since you responsible for a lot of guys' career, what you got going on right now? At 20 years, being 20 plus years in the game.
Man, well, I'm doing a lot of things. I just was in a hip hop Uncovered that I played a small producer part in for my Uncle Big U from 60s from LA, developing options. I got a television show called Hip Hop History, Hip Hop High History. So hosted by Donnell Rollins. So it's very funny. It's kind of like taking the stories of different people in the culture, athletes, rappers, musicians, all different people that's in entertainment through the years, maybe post social media. So it might be stories you might have heard about, heard something about, you know what I'm saying? And you getting them from the actual person. And that's coming out on WikiLeaks and Showtime. And then me and the dog father himself, Snoop Dogg, we working on something too, as far as on the radio tip. Me and Snoop have always been friends and cool. We both real Los Angeles, West California Crips who evolved into, people that kind of, did our thing in entertainment. I was way in Atlanta and he was here. So we've always kind of had a mutual respect and a friendship. We always kept it hood with each other. So, we talked about this for a long time. So now we developing some stuff. And then on the music front, I got these kids called Mason and Jules. And they're from Melbourne, Australia. They're 14 and 16. And best thing I can say is that they just have it, man. If it's, if I can put it into words, it's really true quality of musicianship and artistry. You know what I'm saying? They sing, they rap, they produce, they write, they cut their own vocals, they mix their own stuff, they surf, they skate, you know what I'm saying? And these are kids, but they do it wholeheartedly. Because when I was 14 and 16, I was thinking about fucking bitches, I was thinking about playing the game, like their PlayStations and shit got dust on them. No, they don't even use it because they'll go skate, they'll go hang with some friends, and they'll come back and work on the record. They'll work on the record, go mess with it, like it's a real true passion. And the cool thing about it isn't like you could be like, oh, okay, well maybe their parents, no. Their father's a real estate agent, their mother's a nurse, their brothers only kind of like were fans of music kind of here and there, and they got 2 older brothers and a sister. So when you get people like that young and that passionate, man, I mean, you never know what it could be. But these kids have it, and we're putting out a project, probably hopefully by the time this airs, you know what I'm saying, the single will be out. It's called Key to My Lock. And they produce 99% of it, wrote 99% wrote 100% of it, arranged 100% of it, everything. You know what I'm saying? They did it themselves over a 72-hour period at their house, just we're gonna do this right now. They did all original songs in the vibe, and they're special, man. Mason and Jules. You know what I'm saying? So they're really dope.
Dope.
Okay.
Now, is there anything that you want to like plug for the people to check out? You know what I mean?
I mean, shit, just keep your stacks and facts right, nigga.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
I mean, you know, but nah, man. A lot of times people always, kind of ask me like things that I kind of want to give off or whatever. I just always try to tell people, man, if you're really serious about doing something, and you got to think about how bad you really want to do it, you're probably not that serious, because people that really have true passion about something, they never really think about not doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that consuming. So that's the same thing for me for music and being able to fuel and create stars. It's like, a lot of times people are like, man, you still doing this? I'm always going to still do it because something's going to draw me into them. But it's hard for me to explain how I am. You can bring something to me that's dope. It's probably going to come out and sell millions of records. I don't fuck with that shit. It has to be something that really draws into me, because I kind of feel like people that I know that understand music on the tenfold that I do can be able to evolve and last forever. I don't really think if you're a true artist, you should have a minus date on what you do. If you do it correctly and you really dope, you should always be able to create and make content and make artistry. And if you don't really see it like that, your connection might be off. Tony Bennett is like 90. Bono's still doing shit like 70. I mean, it's not as huge, compacted as was, but I guarantee you when they go to an arena, the motherfucker sold out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's not them being like, oh, they're white. That's passion. Because Stevie do it too. Stevie ain't white. Stevie will put something out tomorrow on your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's not, that doesn't have a color. That has a drive. That has a passion. So when people have true passion, it's about anything. It don't even have to be about music. It can be about fucking, I don't know, sewing. It can be about handball. It could be the shit. Take that shit to the next level. Don't be, don't try to be no disrespect, but don't try to be Tim Duncan. Try to be Jordan, nigga. Real. Put your tongue out, or die trying. I guarantee you, everybody that fucks with you from then on out will treat you like you're the greatest thing going. That's just my way of thinking, man. You better do it.
That's facts.
So, but thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all having me, man. And hit me up anything y'all need, man. Stacks of facts.
Yes. All right, appreciate that, man.
Daddy, we appreciate you, man.
All good, brother. Y'all stay up.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right.